Welcome to another episode of Starseed Activations. So tonight we have a very special co-host named Mary Griffin. So Mary, please say hello.
Hi everybody. It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me, Danielle.
Excellent. Thank you for encouraging me to do a live stream tonight. It truly is a
Yes.
blessing to be here, and I love having you on. You always bring the best questions. So, why don't we start off with one of your. Actually, the star people are ever so gently stepping forward, dear ones. We wish to recalibrate each individual's frequency. We shall begin with an Om. An Om opens and expands the heart chakras. This shall then allow for a type of higher frequency to be embodied. Take a deep breath in. And one more deep breath in. Excellent, dear ones. And we are sending many, many love and blessings. Thank you, dear star people, for this beautiful channeling tonight. Thank you.
Yes. Thank
Yes. Excellent.
you.
Okay.
Okay. The first question I have is regarding instant teleportation. If you
Beautiful.
could explain that for me, because my friend had an experience and, you know,
You can explain the friend's
okay.
experience. Yeah, we have
Okay.
time.
She has a video in her house and she disappeared on the video as she was walking across. She disappeared.
That's cool. That's real cool. So we're all multidimensional. Now, the way that this was shown to me is there's a flicker rate. That flicker rate comes from within the heart chakra. And what it looks like is the entire world that you are seeing looks like a picture, and it flicks like a picture behind a picture behind a picture. Now, that flicker rate is controlled by the heart chakra, and it is controlled by the emotions. We know this because when we're really happy, time seems to fly. When we're very sad, time seems to go very slow. That flicker rate can be modified or adjusted, dear ones. But when an individual has an experience in which they blip in and out of time, it is because there is a activation of their multidimensional ability which is happening. Many times your abilities may spontaneously activate. You may notice this through camera or lenses, or secondary individuals may bring your attention to it. Many individuals have telepathy already activated and are currently unaware. However, the process of teleportation is very simple. Accessing the heart flicker rate shall allow for a type of teleportation to occur. The conscious mind must be focused on where it is going. For when that visualization of your destination is within the mind, it then starts the process of instantly bringing the body towards it. This is a magnetic alignment, dear ones. The happier you are, or we do wish to clarify, also be facilitated in a negative emotional frequency. The emotion must be of a high caliber, very happy or very dark, to allow for a spontaneous shift to take place. Many times we do wish to speak about a process known as dual location. This is very similar to bilocation. However, the individual must have already mastered remote viewing. For when the individual drops into any form of meditation state, you are able to pull your consciousness out of your physical form. This then allows for you to witness or perceive a desired location. This location may be within any time space boundary. When you are able to perceive the new location code, you are then able to summon the physical body to that secondary location. This is how we wish for each of you to start to harness this ability. For this is the safe way of doing it. When you are able to view the location and recognize that it is safe for your physical body, you may then call forward the physical body into that location frequency. Many individuals may have already noticed teleportation abilities becoming activated. You may notice this by taking a 2-hour car ride and only taking 1 hour to end up in your location. That is because you shifted through time and space and you ended at your location in the time that was most in alignment for your heart. And we are sending many, many blessings, dear ones. Beautiful. Thank you, Star People.
Thank you, Star People. Yes, you just said that you can be driving in a car and you can get there quicker. Her friend has been experiencing that as well.
Yes.
That he gets there an hour before he's supposed to be home.
Mm-hmm. That's the reason why. Now,
Yep.
has anyone noticed the solar flares yesterday? And the aurora borealis was over Long Island, New York. I came home a day early, and then all my New Yorkers started sending me pictures of the sky, and it's pink. It's like, we missed it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened over here in Louisiana, if you could believe that. Not yesterday, but probably the last time that it happened, was out like that. The sky was purple.
Yeah, it's
I wrote
beautiful.
a picture at night. Yeah. Okay. The next one is Trigger Day Chaos Energetics.
Yes. So many individuals notice there are certain days in which we get triggered. Now, if each of us kept a journal, that journal, like let's say we had one in our phones, so that we can click onto the day and we could see what we were doing this day of this year, but then we can go back to last year on the same day and we can see. Or we kept the journal where every time we got triggered, we marked it down and then we got to see a little graph. You're going to start to notice a numerological patterning, a mathematical sequence, dear one. And that mathematical sequence shall then show you when your cycle repeats begin. Each individual goes through a different process of trigger days, for the trigger days are also aligned to your zodiac. The date of your birth, as well as your location code, allows for a particular type of opening in your star field. This then will allow the solar energetics to then wind down through the star field, allowing for a particular type of trigger. Now, of course, when the proper energetic clearing is done, you may not experience these triggers. The solar alignments will be very smooth for you the cleaner your energetic grid structure is. However, the process of ascension requires us to go through a certain level of triggers. These are also known as gatekeepers, for you are each meant to be tested along the path of your ascension. These tests are specific to allow each individual to go through such tests with an open heart, holding and radiating more unconditional love for each experience held. This experience, when held in a love-based emotion, shall then allow for you to energetically transmutate that experience. This then shall allow you to open and expand the next brick of consciousness. A brick of consciousness may be perceived as all of the cycle repeats for a particular experiential observed. What this means is you may currently be focused on one problem, and then all of a sudden you may go through that problem over and over again until it is healed. But the second, dear ones, that problem or issue is healed, it then allows you to go into the next brick of consciousness, which then opens, expands, and unpacks a different level. And that different level is going to have its own challenges to a degree. For this is the way each of you are designed. The universe is ever so gently pushing you through your own individual ascension. All of the densities and distortions will be cleared from your energetic grids in time. However, the process of raising into 5D, you may still hold a certain level of density and access 5D. This is normal, dear ones. Beautiful. Thank you, star people. Yes.
Awesome. Before, whenever you were channeling, not this one, you were messing up a lot, and I stopped and said a prayer a couple of times and stopped.
Yes, that happens. They can hear your prayers. They can hear everything. So
Yeah.
the way it was described to me, and this is really interesting, is like all of our thought grids, it's because I am a quantum channeler. And so they have trained me to open and expand my mind so that all of our thought grids become coherent with each other's, and then they're able to see it as a whole collective. So then any thoughts, feelings, and emotions that each and every one of us are thinking on the live stream, they can see and sense these things. So they know the answers to many of our questions before we speak it. That's how this works. So when we send prayers out, we literally, each and every one of us during each channeling, they hear your thoughts and you're able to communicate with them right now in this moment. However, the star people are saying they also can hear and perceive the people who are going to tune into this channeling throughout time and space. So let's say there's someone watching the video 2 weeks from now. The star people have already linked into their thought grids and they're well aware of who you are. They know us. They know who you are. Some of us get triggered to watch the channeling because they also filter through certain activations and frequencies that generates our energy field to magnetically align us onto our highest potential timelines. So, like watching it open and expand, it truly is a blessing for all of us.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. It is. Well,
Yes.
I wanted to say that my intuition has been through the roof
Yeah.
lately, and I am able to connect more with my higher self.
Mhm.
And it is because of you that helped me with the book to do all that. Actually, every time I do my
Beautiful.
breath work, I connect with my higher self. I can see her in front of me whenever I close my eyes. Um, I can't really see a lot of visions yet, but I know that will be coming
Release.
in. Huh?
We want to release that one because when you say it, you're speaking it. Any words that you speak, I can't, I don't, that's of a negative polarity. And so
Okay.
when we speak, we say, I'm focused on achieving this because that
Yeah.
puts it in a positive polarity. But then any words that we do speak, it imprints the energetic grids and then it starts a process of manifestation. And that process of manifestation then literally I'm aware of how this works because the star people have trained me. And let me tell
Yeah.
you, every single emotion code that we speak, it manifests in whatever way, shape, or form it chooses to. That's most in alignment for us. So I've seen these things manifest where one simple, negative word then plays out in real life and I'm witnessing it through other people or it's me who's doing it or someone else. It always shows itself in one way, shape, or form. It shows up for real. So it's, we want to always be mindful of the words. It was kind of
Yeah.
funny too, because in the beginning, I would always be like, nah, right? I always thought it like it wasn't real, but now I'm aware. I know it's real. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah.
used to say that a lot. This isn't happening. This is crazy. But all of
Yeah,
a sudden, I just started saying, it is happening. It's real.
it is. It's very real.
Yeah.
This is
Um,
beautiful.
I wanted to see if you wanted to talk about the solar flash.
Yes. Well, now the solar flash, we are experiencing smaller solar flashes
Yeah.
constantly. And
Yep.
the smaller ones we can see. A lot of the times it generates this type of energy and then it gets absorbed by the earth. And then the earth generates the Schumann resonance, which when we step on the planet barefoot, we ground down into the planet. but it also just comes up and it washes over us, and that energy affects each and every one. This is the reason why we're going through a whole spiritual revolution on the planet to begin with. It's because of the frequency of the sun, and the whole system works hand in hand, because Mother Earth truly was the one who called the frequency of the sun to come into an alignment for a very large coronal mass ejection. What that looks like is 3 horns, like bwomp, bwomp, bwomp. That's what it looks like. The star people showed me a vision back in 2019. Now, when that happens, it changes plants, animals, people, water, every single living thing on the planet changes. We have not experienced the large one yet. The large one we are still waiting for. However, there are smaller ones. Smaller ones, once again, when we do the shadow work and we go inward, what we're focused on doing is cleaning the energetic grids, allowing us to have as much light as possible in our field, because the more light your energy grid is, the more you're able to hold and absorb that frequency from the solar flash. This is the most important thing in our lives right now. And I promise each and every one of you, it is the most important thing that we all can focus on, and do it as a collective, do it as a tribe, as a team. It gets the job done faster when we come together in these types of activities for healing. Now, the more light we absorb from the solar flash when it comes, the more activations we receive. So if we have, rephrasing that, we have solidly 365 extrasensory abilities that we are able to activate now. There are more than this, but this is what we have in this reality, in this time frame, as the star people have guided me to say. Now, that sun is going to activate a certain amount of extrasensory abilities depending on how much light we are able to hold in our fields. So now is the time to clean up the field. Anything that you have in your life that needs to be healed, put your focus and attention on doing it, even if you have to call the tribe to help you. That's okay too. This is why we do the shadow work Zoom every Tuesday and Thursday after the lives. Only if I'm doing the lives do we do the shadow work Zooms, but that's so we can all come together and heal together as one tribe. Because when everybody comes together to heal, it allows their grids to be a little bit lighter. And when that solar flare comes and we get activated, well, the more people who are activated in their extrasensory abilities, the better the entire planet's going to be. This is how we make a very radical change on the planet. It's really by helping each other to heal, and by stepping into the timeline of we are one family, we are one tribe, we're one. And when we, the star seeds, and all the people watching you are all star seeds, when we step forward into that timeline and we say, I'm here to activate unity consciousness, then all of a sudden that becomes your life. And your life looks like you doing the shadow work, healing it, no matter what it looks like, because it doesn't have to always be perfect. It doesn't have to be pretty. What it does have to be is just try, just a little bit. Just see what tiny steps you can take to just be a little happier and healthier. That's all. And then just be happy and grateful for the things that you have. Now, the universe will reorganize the rest of the stuff that you need to heal in time. But the more you're able to focus on it, the more you're going to be best off for when that giant solar flare does happen. We are seeing, like I said earlier, aurora borealis coming, and that's electrical magnetism that is reflecting into the upper atmosphere because of solar energetics. Now, once, a very, very long time ago, we had massive trees on this planet. And these trees, we can still see remnants of them now. These trees were so large, they went into the upper atmosphere. The star people have told us about tree spirits and how that tree was known as the tree of life. Now, that tree produced more oxygen in the planet. This is another reason why there are people on the planet who are well aware of breath work meditations, because if we're only able to hold a certain amount of oxygen in our bodies, and the oxygen in the air right now is not as high as it once was, that means that when we focus on doing breath work, we are pulling more oxygen into the actual body. Well, that in itself can help activate different systems, which then in turn helps us to call forward different extrasensory abilities. So utilizing the oxygen, but it goes another couple levels deeper because we have 4 primary Kundalini channels that are connected to the elementals. There are 6 Kundalini channels in total. The one on the left is earth. The one in the front is air. This is where we breathe. Earth is your magnetism. The one on the right is your chi energetic system. This is fire. This is the energy in the body. And the one in the back is water. Your cerebral spinal cord fluid is water. That's rising up and down the spine. And that cerebral spinal cord fluid can also be accessed with the breath to hold the fluid all the way up the spine, and it generates a piezoelectric effect, triggering the pineal gland to flower itself open. Now, we have to flower open the pineal gland as well as the heart chakra. When these two systems activate, there's a band of neurons that run around the brain. We open that, and then we start to dive in deep at the light refractal system. Inside each one of the chakras are different lenses. Now, the star people have been telling us there's 3 rings to the body. We have the primary ring, which is, it's made up, dear ones, of the binary codex frequency, which makes up your entire physical form. However, your location frequency, as well as your experiential frequency, is also encoded into that primary soul tubule. The secondary ring is your location. All people, places, and things outside of your body reflect into that ring. The third ring is your civilization ring. All aspects of your individual simulation that you currently are unaware of reflect a frequency into that ring. Inside each chakra, these 3 lenses may be adjusted to either allow more light or less light to flow through the rings. Each chakra contains a different frequency. Okay, so they're saying like such examples of this would be like the throat chakra. This is how we communicate. So the 3 rings we're able to adjust inside of the throat chakra system is either going to make us have a physical distortion in the body if it's in the center ring. The secondary ring is going to be a communication blockage, so between the people, places, and things that we know of. And the third ring, the civilization ring, is if we have an imbalance there, you may notice issues in the solar system or issues communicating with other planets, right? So all these things are very real. When we start to learn the body and we start to come inwards and we start to actually play with all these systems and we start to feel these things. Now, there's also a nervous system net that runs directly underneath the skin. This nervous system net, you can feel every single emotion that you resonate in this net. We have to do the shadow work because clearing the density and distortion allows more light to flow in your system. The more light that flows through your system, when you are holding a crystal, you are able to feel the frequency of this crystal in the nervous system net. The only way to develop this is to close the eyes and just feel into the body. And then you won't even have to close your eyes. You will just feel the energy inside of your body energetically shift with every single word that you speak. This nervous system net shifts. And this is what it means to be ascended or enlightened. Because when you learn to control the entire system, you rise out of the simulation. Yes.
And speaking of crystals, ever since I got this crystal, I got it about a week ago, it has heightened my senses up as well. It's a labradorite.
Oh, labradorite. I have a heart one. So
Oh, you do?
I have 2 heart ones. They the regular labradorites, they don't have like a shine to them. And I've compared them at this point because I was curious why. All of my New York friends, we all held these heart crystals and everybody felt the energy go right up and like it stopped in the center of the head. And you know, we were like, this is a crazy crystal, so we released it to the ocean. Well, the second that crystal had left my hand, I looked at the person I was with and I was like, we have to go buy more because that's an amazing crystal. And then we went to the shop and we bought the whole rest of them except 3. And I kept 2 of them for myself. It turns out it's a very powerful labradorite. And anybody who holds it, it brings the energy right up to your head. And it has an extra sparkle in it. I guess it's hard to explain, but it must be like a blended crystal. So I have two of them, and everyone who
It's
holds it is like,
something,
yeah, you feel it.
it's something with them. I put it on my third eye at night when I go to
Yes.
sleep. It's something with them, I'm telling you. I
Yeah.
ordered more. I had to order another one, so now I have 2, and I got one for my daughter as well.
I have an Azteca. So somebody gave me an Aztec piece of black obsidian. It looks like a little Aztec man. And I'm telling you, when you hold it, it's like if there's any negativity surrounding your field, it's gone immediately.
Yeah.
Like such a blessing. He's pretty big though. Like I fit him in my pocket.
Well, I even learned how to, make the net for the necklace, the string
Yeah.
net.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna get some, black string, but I made one with a colorful to wear it all the time, to put it on. I don't it's in my
Beautiful.
drawer somewhere.
Now, I don't actually recommend wearing the same exact crystal all the time. So, what happens is, just like any crystal, when we hold it, this is triggering the nervous system net into a particular patterning. But then, if we forget it, then all of a sudden our nervous system net has to rebalance itself. In order to truly master your own body, we are being called during this time to release. So use a crystal for what it is and then be okay putting it down and just feel into your own body because this is how we take power and control over our own systems.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love to name my crystals. I name my crystals the archangels. Actually, this one that I just got, I named it Archangel Raphael because I was told before that he was one of my guides.
Yes.
A few people
Um,
told me that.
there's an angel tarot where you go into the zodiac and the your time of birth and the date and all that stuff, and you can actually pull up which angel you have in attunement to. So we have to recognize what these cards are telling us is exactly what the star people have been telling us about attachments and messengers. So attachments and angels are the same exact things. Now, the star people call them messengers because how they see it is each and every person is a fractal of the source frequency, which is another form of a frequency bandwidth that reflects downwards. Many people call this God. I personally call it God, but I use the term source frequency a lot because it's very scientific and it resonates with me. Now,
Mhm.
the source frequency, when it fractaled down, it created or designed angels, and it also created lower frequency, not angels, or attachments, as we call them. Now, so one is light, one is dark. Each and every one has an emotion code. And the way to call these beings onto you is to trigger the emotion code. So the emotion code can be I am happy. There is an angel of happiness that then comes and it broadcasts down through the star field and it latches on, energetically bonding with you to a degree, and then it triggers more happiness into your field. And the dark ones do the same thing. So when we feel sadness, that one latches on, and then we have to go through and we are responsible for our energetics. So it's up to us
Mhm.
to clear and maintain our field. Now, the positive ones, the angels, they can stay because they are not siphoning our energy. They are just here to have the experience of being happy. That is all. So they are wonderful beings, and a lot of them protect us as well. And then the dark ones siphon our energy, but they only do this because they are holding a void frequency. The void frequency pulls the light out of your system. That's okay too, because when we look at both of these beings, they are merely messengers. Light shall always snuff out the dark. Great care when we are handling the lower frequency attachments because we are able to snuff them out just by sending them love and light. And they are real physical beings. We cannot see them with our eyes unless your eyes are open to actually see them. Some people can see them, but we don't send them love and kindness. What we do is we just say the word release and they release off of our field. That's okay too. Then we can do things like call Archangel. Archangel Michael is great for this one. And we thank him for taking the attachments home. This way we know that they are cleared out of our houses. You guys can sage afterwards. And the star people always recommend doing a saltwater bath after cleansing or after clearing any attachments, because all of the darker emotions that we trigger, it actually gets encoded into the hair. So we want to do salt water so that it cleanses all of those dark emotions off of our hair follicles. Remember, we have hair on the entire body. So this is why it's best to do a bath if you can. If you can't, just salt water over the hair and try and get in your eyebrows and any large hair. This way you're recalibrating your follicle systems. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. About Archangel Raphael, actually, I saw him on a cloud and he was huge and he looked down on me because he wanted me to see him up there. And I snapped a picture. I have a picture of it.
Beautiful.
And he has a huge green heart right here on his chest.
Aw.
That's on the picture.
You'll have
But
to send it to me.
I will. I will send it to you because you'll be able to see it. Some people can't see it, but I can. And in the beginning in 2020, I don't know if you know this about me, but I take a lot of cloud pictures. I'm like obsessed with the clouds. And in the beginning in 2020, I was taking a bunch of pictures and I saw the star people working on the sun, doing stuff with the sun.
Mm.
And actually, I was kind of a little scared whenever, because I know that they saw me taking pictures because they stopped my camera from working a couple of times. It's like they didn't want me to take their picture.
Well, if they don't want you to see them, they won't even allow you to see them. They know when we look at them, they can tell right
Yeah.
away because they are the way that it works is like literally the second that you think about a person, it's an energy cord connects to that individual and they know right away that you're looking at them. And I'm not even talking about technology. This is what they do inside of their mind. So the second that you think about a person, they are consciously aware. It's like picking up a phone and calling somebody. So they're very aware of the thoughts that run inside the mind, and they really do have control when the thoughts enter the mind and how to properly regulate that. They were allowing you to see them. And
So they were allowing me to take
yeah.
a pic. They were allowing me to take a picture of them. One of them came on a ship and went inside a cloud, and I could see the silhouette of him. And he closed the window in the cloud. I
Yeah.
have that picture as well. That
That's
video.
beautiful. Yeah, you have to show me. I would love to see it.
It's amazing. It's just amazing. I was like, I can't believe I got this. And I was trying to like show my family and stuff, and they're like, "You're crazy. You don't know, you know."
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a stage. That's a stage everybody goes through, right?
Yeah.
On the spiritual journey. I mean, when I was in the beginning, I went to my parents with science, and it wasn't anything woo-woo. It was like, look at this. This is science. And, they did the same thing. That's crazy. You know what happened is you have to release. And when you release and it's okay for them to believe whatever they choose to believe, then all of a sudden they start to go through their own wake up process. But the more resistance that we hold to it, the longer that process takes. So Victoria did ask a quick question. She said, does that include wearing the same crystal bracelets every day? So yes, all of the jewelry we should definitely take off. We should also be cleansing and purifying the jewelry. So what that looks like is when we have a crystal necklace, you guys, we know how to bless the crystals. So we can either use water, some people use salt water. It depends on the type of crystal that you are using because certain crystals do get damaged in water. A piece of selenite is wonderful. And selenite, it always pushes a very light and bright frequency. So we can take the secondary crystals and put them right on top and it'll just recharge. Now, once again, the more focus and attention that you can place on the crystal, the higher you can raise the frequency of the crystal. All crystals are able to be reprogrammed, which means, yes, this may be a fluorite. However, our consciousness is so powerful that we're able to actually go into the subatomic levels of any crystals, dear ones. When your mind starts to activate these levels, you then are able to change or modify the frequency of such crystal. This is known as a crystal program. For each of you are able to tell or command each crystal to hold a very particular resonance, which then shall start the process of manifestation. What it is doing is it is changing or modifying your frequency inside your energetic grids, allowing you to then magnetize whatever experience you are programming into such crystal. The crystals always contain a form of consciousness that may also be activated for a type of two-way communication. When you start to make communication with the crystalline kingdom, it shall then open and expand into the third degree, which shall allow access into communication with Mother Earth's crystalline core. Her crystalline core contains all memories, as well as different parallel reality version of the Earth's memory grid complex. This then shall allow for data downloads into your individual matrix. This may look like a genius level ability, for you will be able to download any information in the now moment that is needed. Beautiful. Thank you, Star People. Yes.
You were cutting out again, but I prayed again and it stopped.
Keep praying. It's okay. This happened yesterday too. We went
Yeah, I saw
live
it.
and it's like it cut in and out a little. So everyone
It's the
watching,
frequency.
yes, just bless the live and thank you, Star People, for channeling with us tonight. And thank you, all the technology for working so that all the people here get the messages that they need to hear. And we are
Yep.
humble and grateful for this moment together. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so Victoria says, thank you. I've been wearing the same crystal bracelets for months. So she's been noticing a heavy feeling while putting them on. Could this mean that she needs to cleanse them? Well, I would cleanse them definitely. Or wherever you're keeping your crystals, just throw the selenite in there because it charges them at the same time. However, I would switch them. So if you can switch around your jewelry. Now, this is the fun part about crystals. Because let's say, for an example, you have 5 crystal bracelets or crystal necklaces. Now, every morning before you go to put on any of your jewelry, feel into each one of the stones, and you can even thank them. Thank you, crystals, for guiding me to whichever one of you wants to be where today. When we start handling our crystals this way, it changes everything, because sometimes the crystals will call you and you'll just go over and randomly pick it up and not know why. And it's like, oh, it just discharged something in my energy field. Thank you for healing me. And then you put it down and then you go in the next day and you just feel, well, what is calling me today? Oh, okay, this one, let me hold it. And sometimes we forget what they do. That's okay too. So we may hold the crystal and then feel something shift. And then later on, what we do is we research a crystal again. And then, oh, okay, that makes sense because this, and this happened during the day. And it's like the crystal that was most in alignment called me so that it could fine tune my energy field to allow me to have the frequency I needed for that day. Now, when we start stepping into healing abilities, this is where it really gets fun because you can tune in to a secondary individual's energetic grid complex. And then, dear ones, many of our crystal keepers here who are listening may pick up such crystals and may feel the resonance of a crystal and then energetically cast it into the secondary individual's aura field. So they're showing me that when we do this, we may feel the nervous system net start to fluctuate inside. And that is how you know that we are holding that frequency of that crystal. And the second that we are holding that frequency and our nervous system net is solid or it is anchored in, then we are able to cast it. And we're not only able to cast it at one person, like let's say right now, we could do it for the entire group throughout time and space who are watching this video. However, it doesn't have to be fluorite. We could do it with love. Oh, the star people are saying, we'll do it with love and fluorite. So anyone who accepts this healing energy, you can just say the word, yes, I do. You could do it inside your mind. That's okay too. The star people are also going to help us by facilitating this. And I'm just ever so gently going to send it to you. So if you're not driving, because they're saying somebody's driving, close your eyes and just feel within. I love you. How did that feel? How did that feel inside? Did you feel it?
Yeah, it felt great.
Yeah. Man, we could feel it in our hearts, just opening and expanding. Imagine if we sat and we did this all day, right, with each other.
I do that to
Right?
my water. I love
Yeah.
you. I
Yes.
love you.
Well, there's three different tones. It's I love you. And when we activate the three tones, it activates the pineal gland, the heart, and the solar plexus. And then it pulls those three chakra systems back into a form of alignment. Now, your solar plexus is pulling energy in. That's in the direct center of your belly button. And the direct center of your belly button, it pulls the energy in, it chambers it in the sacral, which is where your passions are. And so when you are doing your passion, it like releases the chamber. So it allows the solar plexus to trigger up to the heart, and then it triggers up to the pineal gland. These are the 3 points of light refractal. That post is in the first book. So you have to get my Ascension Guide to read the entire thing. Or if anybody needs it, just send me a message and I'll send you the post. No charge. We don't gatekeep the knowledge. We spread it to every single person. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah, speaking of crystals, usually when I meditate, I go in and I ask the crystal grid to connect with me.
Yeah.
I am connecting with the crystal grid of the earth to amplify my intention.
That's
To
beautiful.
whatever I want to intend for my meditation.
Yeah.
You know, and Mother Earth. I have to connect to Mother Earth.
You can set it and forget it. So we can connect to Mother Earth and we can thank her for anchoring that connection in. This is also a form of energetic bonding. So the more we focus on this, the stronger our energetic bonds are going to become with the earth. So when we start to do that, it then allows her to remove any density and distortions from our field. She knows what you need to learn because she could see throughout your entire life, time and space. She knows what's a cycle repeat. She knows what imprints are running in the soul. She knows what imprints you're holding in your body because there's two different things. This is how sometimes the past lives will make a trauma mark. That trauma mark is a soul imprint. And this starts a process of generating birthmarks. So the soul imprints, usually we dive inwards to clear them, but Mother Earth can see all of this. It's all information. And, the plant kingdom, it's miraculous. Some of the plants can see, some of the plants can sense, some of them know colors. Some of them, they know when you walk through the forest, they can read your energy signature. And then let's say what we do is we do mushroom tea. So there's a whole process the Star People guided me on of taking the mushroom tea and smelling it because you smell it. It smells very earthy. So when you smell it, it's like you just imagine and visualize looking at the mushroom hanging on the tree. And then all of a sudden you thank that mushroom for grounding you and connecting, dear ones, into the mycelium kingdom. The mycelium kingdom runs just underneath Mother Earth's skin, which is also the ground. That is very similar to your nervous system net. All information, all electrical impulses run through the mycelium kingdom. The mycelium kingdom also connects to the trees. For each tree has a potential of growing a mushroom on it. When you start to do different activations to connect to the mycelium kingdom, it shall then allow access into a form of communication with Mother Earth. Ingesting the mushrooms shall allow a very rapid communication process. However, it is advised to know and research your mushrooms before consuming. Okay, beautiful. There's a thing about portobello mushrooms. I just have to say this one. It's like, don't eat them. Right?
Don't.
Go get the rishis or the shagas.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you told me that because I have some portobello mushrooms and I didn't want them to go bad and I put them in my freezer. So now
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw them away.
Yeah. This is there was a gentleman on TikTok who's like the number one mushroom guru, and he was on a Joe Rogan podcast, and he was like, don't do the portobellos, right? And it's like, okay. So, but that's all he would say because he didn't want to get hurt or anything. So,
Yeah, they would
you
have
know,
probably just
but
continued his
that's in
page.
my reality is what I've seen on TikTok once again. Now as far as what the star people say, you are the portobello mushroom, so you are able to ingest them and it won't harm you because you are. And the second that you're in alignment, then these things won't have an effect on you. However, until we're in full alignment, we have to just be aware of how the food has an effect on us. So it's kind of like a baby step process, right? So
Yeah.
when we start to notice our body, because this is actually the way it works, to get into like the full technical details of it is like this. We have an alignment meter, right? This is how I see it. And every single item, and kinesiology will also tell us this. So we can hold an item and then muscle test, and our muscles will tell us if that item is going to make us stronger or weaker. Now, what this is, it's in alignment. So, am I in alignment with this item? Yes or no? So, that alignment works for all food. Now, of course, we can sit here and we can muscle test all food, but the results that we are going to get is only our alignment for right now. If you ingest a food too much, for an example, your alignment can shift. And we know this because we call it an allergy. Oh, you had too much and then your body didn't want it anymore and you became allergic to it. We know this. So, but what that is, it's an alignment indicator. Am I in alignment right now with this? And we don't need someone else to tell us if we're in alignment. We can simply hold it and we can ask the higher self, thank you, higher self, for showing me, am I in alignment with this? And just allow a yes or a no. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel good? And this is the basic one that we just get the conscious mind out of the way. Does this make me feel good holding it? If it makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside and it makes me feel amazing, you're in alignment with it. But don't have it too much because then it could shift the alignment. That's how we do with food. How does it make you feel? Some foods, they also generate memories. And so if you smell like fresh baked, cookies or lasagna, and it makes you think back to the past when your mom used to cook it, then it's triggering a memory, which is beautiful because that memory can then heal you as well. Because then as you're eating the food, it rushes all of these different emotions to you. So being aware of how the food makes you feel is of high value for each and every one of us because we are triggering the nervous system net, which contains all of the emotions as we are ingesting the food. And ingesting any item is the fastest way to energetically bond with it. Literally. So I had a single drop of essential oil, but it was made with alcohol, and I felt whoosh, this heat washed over me, and it actually opened my star field. And I felt it. It was like whoosh. And I felt like spiritually exposed. Now, once again, you would only feel this if you did the energy work, which the star people, I'm very humble, but they have guided me through all this energy work and I felt it. And that's when I became aware, wow, alcohol really shouldn't be consumed, especially not by me. So I just tune out of it. But becoming aware of that was key because now I know a single drop of anything that we are ingesting, it shifts our frequency. And when we are aware of this now, it's of high value to put the best food in your body that you possibly can, whatever that looks like for each of us. Because for you, your best food may be meat. Some of us are our physical bodies may be in alignment to receive meat. Some people stop eating meat and they get sick. So that means that their alignment is different than mine. My body needs plants. So I love eating plants. Now, everyone is different. You have to follow your
Mhm.
own alignment. And that's actually the key. This is the part that makes the most amount of sense. Every single one of us being on the human collective consciousness grid, we all have a different path to ascension. And because we have a different path to ascension, all potentials must be experienced. So there must be people who are going to ascend and eat meat. And there must be people who are going to ascend who eat both meat and plants. And then there has to be people only eating the plants, and so on and so forth, because every single experience has to be had in order to allow the entire collective to raise the frequency enough to go through the ascension process. So there is no way to ascension. There's no one way to ascension. There's a billion ways to ascend. And every single one of us is doing it our own way. So, by that logic in itself, there is no right and wrong. You can't make a mistake. You can only adjust your alignment, and you can only heal yourself depending on your focus and what you're willing to release. The more you release, and releasing includes crying, letting go of old traumas, forgiving people is key. I had to do that very early on. I had to forgive every single person who has ever harmed me, all of them, and then letting it go. The more we're able to do that, the more we heal, and the more it actually slingshots us up into the light realms. Yeah,
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to forgive some people, but I
At
forgive
least,
everybody.
yeah,
I
you
have.
have
It
to
was
do it.
hard. Yeah, I have, but it was hard. It really was,
Hmm.
you know?
That's okay. It's okay for it to be hard, right? If everything was easy, we would do it rapidly.
I
It's
know I
not meant.
usually get over all that with affirmations. They help me a lot. I do affirmations every morning. I do
Absolutely.
like 150 every morning.
Nice.
Actually, I put affirmation videos on my channel as well.
That's beautiful. Why don't you tell everyone what your channel is?
Um, it is Mary JG 3916.
Beautiful. Okay, let's see. I hold food and herbs to my hearts while standing, feet shoulder width. If I tend to lean forward, it's good for me. If I lean back, it's not good for me. That's how I muscle test in the supermarkets. Very good. That's from Russ. Now, it's not only that, because now we're talking about the supermarkets. When we go into a supermarket, let's say we pick up any type of fruit or vegetable, where that plant was grown, the people who have handled that plant, and it's like a whole bunch of variables for each plant. It is the frequency of the plant itself. So sometimes you may be in alignment to eat, let's say, carrots, but you may go to a different supermarket and you may hold those carrots, and those carrots are not in alignment because they haven't been properly handled. So, doing things like that and feeling into your intuition is key while shopping, right? And how does it
Yep.
make you feel? So, once again, we look at that and it's like when you pick up the fruit, does it make you feel like you want to ingest it? So, becoming aware of the emotions that we hold is key, because the more we come into our awareness of how does it make me feel, it's going to also allow you to start to sense into the emotions every single item is holding. Now, and this is very interesting because some items I was just in a spiritual shop and there was a ring, and every single person was putting this ring on their finger and it didn't fit anybody. But the ring was beautiful. Well, that ring was imprinted with the emotion code, I'm beautiful, pick me up. And everybody went right away for that ring. It drew their eyes
Yeah.
to it. So, but when we start to see that, it's like that's the emotion code. What is the ring actually doing? Now, what I'm telling you guys is we're multidimensional. So that ring is actually able to communicate with people and say, I'm beautiful, pick me up, because that's the emotion it's holding. However, the ring chooses the individual to purchase it. So, and I've seen this before where the ring will actually change its size, or a person will go to put it on and it just won't fit. It's because it's not in alignment. But then when the correct owner comes across, the ring will fit them perfect and be the right size. I've also had an experience where I know someone who went to an expo, and the lady at the expo was like, not a single person even saw this ring for the 2 days she was there. And then my friend comes over, and then all of a sudden my friend was like, wow, this ring is beautiful. And she picked it up, and the lady was like, wow, you are the first person to pick it up. And that's because the ring itself, it was more like the crystal, because they're conscious. They were able to cast an emotion of, you don't see me.
Yeah.
Right? Now, how many human beings have done that in their life during their trauma? When they were children, they didn't want to be seen. And then that emotion resonated into their adulthood, and now they were falling into the background. So we can cast these emotions at ourselves or at any item as well. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
Isn't
I'm
it?
just happy to be alive at this time.
Me too.
I am.
Absolutely.
I think every day, I thank God. I thank Source Frequency every single day. The star
It's
people, my guides, every day.
beautiful.
Anyway, thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming. It's always a blessing to have you. Did you have any more questions, Mary?
No, I didn't have any questions. I just wanted to say that I tried to eat just fruit and vegetables, and I get sick from it. So I have to just eat meat.
That's okay too. So like we were saying,
Yep.
sometimes it's okay. It depends on your alignments. And honestly, I went through a healing, and during this healing, which was extensive, the star people had me eat steak. And I had been choosing to, because I don't like to conform to one thing or the other. I'm everything. I am the all. And so I don't label myself. But at that time, I had just spent like a year eating plants. And they were like, you have to eat steak. You're going to do a healing. And I was like, oh no, that was, it was alive. And I spent a couple of months eating steak. And then when the healing was done, they were like, now it's time to remove the steak. So depending on the frequency that we hold, we may be called to go inwards and to consume steak because it's physical, and then it'll start a healing process. So depending on what's happening, anyone going for like a surgery too, or anything physical in the body that's happening, or you get ill, it might be in alignment to dive into eating the steak. We have to remember, especially if you're getting grass-fed cows that are clean, no antibiotics from a butcher. Just as an example, doesn't have to be, but what is a cow eating? It's eating the grass. And when it eats the grass, it's actually absorbing the solar energetics, because that's what the plants do. And then the cow's meat and cells is absorbing that energy, and it gets imprinted into their bodies because that's what they're eating. We know you are what you eat. So whatever it is that we are eating, it has an effect on the physical body. We see this in bears, because bears that eat blueberry, their meat turns like a light purpley blue color. So whatever you're eating, it is affecting your body and the inside to the out, because it's imprinting you. Now, allow yourself the grace and compassion to be okay to do whatever is in alignment for you without judging yourself. The second you judge yourself, you have to walk that judgment anyway, which isn't always fun.
Yeah.
But excellent. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you so much, Mary, for coming and doing this with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
It was beautiful to have you. Excellent. Yes. Awesome, guys. So you all have a wonderful night, and we are sending you many love and blessings. Thank you, dear star people, for this beautiful channeling tonight. Thank you for answering all of the questions that were in alignment for all of the people. Thank you, guys. Okay.